All right, well, let's go ahead and kick it off. I want to first thank everyone for joining us today. So, this is CMPRSA's official 2021 annual meeting, and we are so glad you're here. If you want to participate, please weigh in through the chat during our time together this evening. Feel free to ask questions throughout. We're going to have several speakers, and if you have a question for me or any other speakers, make sure you drop them in the chat, and we'll make sure to get you an answer, either live, and if we miss it while it's live, we will take the time to follow up with you. So I'm Jessica Tramontana. I'm the current president. I'm going to be welcoming all of you today, and we're going to hear from MSU's PRSSA president, Alysa Kirn, and also a look ahead with President-elect Caldwell, and two special guests from National. I want to offer a special thank you. Dr. Felicia Blow, APR, and Michelle Olsen, APR. They're going to be joining us throughout our call and also speaking at the end. And there will be a time at the end for questions. So thank you both so much for joining us today. It is deeply appreciated. Really excited to hear what's in store National and where we're kind of going from here. So I really want to thank you all. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for working to make a difference throughout a tremendously challenging year. Thank you for your dedication to public relations and continuing to show agility and the ability to adapt. It has not been easy to demonstrate resiliency throughout this year. So it's a new norm for all of us. I know it hasn't been easy. I know, especially for myself personally with two young kids, it feels like there's been challenges literally thrown at us every single day, both professionally and personally. And I want to thank all of you for your dedication and commitment to our chapter. I especially want to make sure I thank CMPRSA's executive team. Some of the members of CMPRSA may not know the countless hours that are dedicated behind the scenes to keep the trains running on time. But members of our executive team have showed up and worked relentlessly to guide this chapter forward, to establish programming and really right the ship after a volatile year in a lot of ways. I especially want to make sure I thank Caldwell. She is president-elect, and her commitment and organizational skills are going to help kill it next year. After years of volunteering as PACE committee chair and in other leadership roles, I'm so excited to see the direction you take this organization next year. A special thank you as well to Allie, who jumped in and stepped in as both president-elect and secretary to fill a hole on our executive team. I know that wasn't anticipated, and your help and your support are deeply appreciated. Greg Rokiski, past president. Greg, thank you so much for your help and support this year. I know you were ready to kick off 2020 with full steam ahead, and unfortunately COVID had other plans. So you did an awesome job adapting and helping me to really personally prepare for this year. Monica Ackerson, APR, who has been on the board for, gosh, I don't even know how long. It's been that long. She's an institutional face and name and was named pacemaker for a reason. Monica, you are absolutely unbelievable in your steadfast commitment to the chapter and public relations as a profession. So thank you so much for your expertise and continued support. Lisa Beering, who stepped up big time, and she has also accepted every single challenge thrown her way. So Lisa, thank you for continuing to step up, accept new leadership opportunities, and take on additional projects. You stepping forward consistently and always throwing your hat in the ring, it's noticed and it's also appreciated. Kamara Lewis. Kamara is our inclusion, diversity, ethics, and advocacy, so our IDEA champion. Kamara, I really love your quiet leadership. Your perspective is so important to me, and I know that you aren't always comfortable or don't always speak up, but whenever you do, I listen, because whatever you say to me is always profound and extremely thoughtful and insightful. So thank you for the amazing ability you have to offer leadership to our team in a really meaningful way. Catherine Jappinga, Assistant Treasurer, thank you for your help over the years. I know you've been a part of CMPRSA for a long time, and I realize you've also worn a number of hats, so truly appreciate how you help this organization move forward in a new direction. So thank you so much again to our executive team. A special thank you as well to our entire board. That includes Catherine Jappinga, Laura Hall, Kirsten Schreiner, Kamara Lewis, Rachel Esterline Perkins, Dustin Early, Alicia Pillmore, and Cassie Kahn. And also, I really want to recognize our chairs. Our committee chairs get it done. There are so many important networking and programming and other opportunities that help us really offer value to all of our members. So thank you to our chairs. Jesse Wortley Adler, the accreditation chair, Helen Corneffel, our spectacular communications chair, who has helped me consistently provide updates monthly and also timely updates, things that are going on, whether it's networking opportunities or different programming offered from National. Helen is consistently on top of it. Kirsten Shiner, membership chair, PACE co-chairs, Hannah Loopy and Allie Caldwell, new professionals chair, Haley Jones, nominations chair, Greg Rokiski, programming chairs, Alicia Pillmore and Rachel Esterline Perkins, sponsorship chair, Alysa Beering, PRSSA professional advisor, Rachel Esterline Perkins, MSU PRSSA faculty advisor, Rose Tantropol, and PRSSA president, Alysa Kirn. Our chairs and our board really work so hard to help provide content, programming, communications, and without them, this board would be lost and not delivering on the networking or educational opportunities that many of you expect and appreciate. So I was hoping in my tenure as president to, be able to meet together, but 2021 had other plans and continued to throw curveball after curveball our way. Despite a tumultuous year, we were able to provide consistent programming virtually and able to get some big things done still. So PACE Awards this year was smoother than ever. The entire PACE committee killed it, and it was the event of the year to recognize some of the amazing projects and public relations practitioners in mid-Michigan. The programming committee also stepped up in a big way to provide us with a lot of virtual options, including the first ever online group meditation, a diversity panel in May, which Dr. Blow also participated and helped moderate. Alysa Heinrich talked to us about content accessibility. Jason Malika in July led our first ever power hour at Haley Griffiths, the head of public relations at Buffer. She shared insights into the future of remote work. And in June, John Beebe talked about big data and technology and really the impact it's going to have on all of us as communications professionals. So these incredible speakers, along with the countless speed networking, coffee mixers, happy hours, were all part of us and our executive team and our board working really collaboratively to try to help provide content and connection that so many of us crave right now. Thank you all so much for the opportunity to serve as 2021 president of CMPRSA. It has truly been an honor. I hope in 2022 we'll be able to turn over a new leaf and meet face to face, fingers crossed, but I can't wait to see the direction that our new leadership takes us. So I'd now like to introduce MSU PRSA's president, Alysa Kirn. Alysa.
Hi, everyone. I just want to give a quick little overview and a little preview into what we have in store. But first, I actually have my e-board here with me, so I'll give a little bit about me. I'm the chapter president for this year, and I am a senior at Michigan State. I'm going into my final semester, which is crazy to think about. But I'm majoring in advertising management, and then my minor is PR, and then I'll pass it to Bridget.
Hi everyone, I'm Bridget. I'm also a senior at MSU, majoring in social relations and policy with a minor in PR, and I'm currently a student practitioner at Martin Waymire.
Hi everyone, I'm Caitlin. I'm a junior at Michigan State, and I study social relations and policy and public relations.
Okay, so it's just the three of us, but it's going well. So this semester we actually grew by, I believe we have a total of about 25-ish members. Yeah, 25 members. And we have an average of about 10 people at each meeting. It was a little rough in the beginning. It's kind of hard to get people to actually leave their dorms and come, but nearly all of them are new recruits except a handful. And well over half of them are dues paying members, which is awesome. We had some amazing guest speakers this semester, and actually our last meeting is tonight, so we may have to cut out a little early, but tonight's our final meeting, which is crazy. This semester absolutely flew by, but it was so smooth, it was so fun, and I'm really excited for next semester, which we have a sponsor next semester. Moonsail North is our sponsor. I'm really excited to see kind of how we can collaborate and get some benefits for not only them, but also us and our members. We're going to start planning our annual networking event. If you or your company or anyone at your company has interest in joining us, you can either contact Caitlin, which I have her email there, or me, and my email's too. We're also working on recruiting for a mentorship program, but we need you guys' help. We need some mentors, and then we're going to start bringing on our members to be mentees. I believe Bridget has the link to the Google form that she's going to drop in the chat if you need that at any other time. Also, you can just email me or Caitlin. And we'd love to do firm tours with people. I actually have one coming up that I'm going on this Friday, and I'm super excited about it. It was one of the few things on my list that I wanted to do as president. I think firm tours are so fun. And now that everything's kind of opening back up and we're kind of seeing, fingers crossed, change, I think it's be super cool for our members to do. So yeah, that's all that I have.
Thanks, Alyssa. So my name is Caldwell, and I'm the incoming CMPRSA president for 2022. Crazy to think that 2022 is right around the corner. I'm probably going to be writing 2021 on a lot of my things for a few more weeks. But as the CMPRSA president, it's my honor to introduce to you the 2022 board slate as voted on and approved by our membership. Joining myself is Lisa Beering as president-elect, Jen Anderson as secretary, Jess as past president, Monica Ackerson, APR, as assembly delegate, Justin Rumenap as our treasurer, Caitlin Lindstrom as our inclusion, diversity, ethics, and advocacy champion, and Catherine Jepican returning as assistant treasurer. In addition, I'd like to introduce our 2022 directors at large: Kamara Lewis, Rachel Esterline Perkins, Penny Davis, Justin Early, Cassie Cotton, Bree Moore, Ashley Sanborn, and Sophie Gamble. Thank you all for serving on our upcoming board. I'm excited for what's to come. You might also note that I didn't mention any of our chair positions, and our chair positions are crucial to maintaining our chapter success. But congratulations and kudos to those chair positions that we have confirmed for the upcoming year. However, we are still looking to fill a few more vacancies before the chair positions are officially announced. So please let myself, Jess, or Greg Rokiski, our past president and nominations chair, know if you're at all interested in joining or leading a committee for 2022. Which brings me to a quick look ahead at 2022. It's really hard to believe that we're 2 years into the 20s and just under 2 years removed from the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, something that has affected everyone in every facet of life, at home, at work, and beyond, which has led to circumstances that has undoubtedly changed the way that our membership has been able to connect. So my hope for 2022 is that our membership can better connect and learn from one another and can continue to grow as a community, including bridging the gap between our student practitioners and our PRSA members. With the help of the 2022 Executive Committee, we have established a series of goals to help our chapter reach, and goals that will undoubtedly help us be more successful as a board and provide more valuable tools, events, and opportunities to our members in the upcoming year. I'm excited for our chapter and what is to come, including what's to come on a national level. I'm going to introduce our special guests today, Michelle Olsen, APR, current 2021 chair, and Felicia Blow, APR, actually Dr. Felicia Blow, APR, the incoming 2022 PRSA national chair. Michelle Olsen has previously served on the National Board of Directors as a leader at the chapter and section levels. Michelle is managing director and partner at Lambert, a full-service communications firm with offices in Michigan, New York, and Arizona. She was recently named CEO of the nationally recognized firm, which works with clients ranging from global brands to emerging leaders in a variety of industries, including automotive, mobility, consumer, education, financial, B2B, and food and beverage. Effective January 1, 2022, Olsen will assume strategic leadership of the firm, where her responsibilities will include driving client practice and talent growth, while also managing the agency's largest client relationships. Dr. Felicia Blow, APR, is the incoming 2022 PRSA National Chair. She has served as chair of the D&I Strategic Planning Committee, playing a lead role in the development of the 2020-2022 plan. She was also senior counsel on the 2018 and 2019 PRSA Board of Directors and a director representing the Mid-Atlantic District from 2013 to 2014. Felicia is currently Associate Vice President for Development and Campaign Director at Hampton University in Virginia. A graduate of Hampton University, she has an MBA from Strayer University and is pursuing a doctorate in higher education administration from Old Dominion University, while also serving as Director of Public Affairs at Cox Communications. She initiated the Cox Charities Virginia program, which in its first year generated proceeds to fund numerous nonprofits in Virginia. So very, very distinguished speakers here today to give us an update from PRSA National. So with that, I'll turn it over to Michelle.
Thank you, Allie. I am going to share my screen. You can tell by what we do in our day jobs that we've got a lot going on, but we love PRSA so much that it really is a labor of love for both Felicia and I. And as Felicia steps into the role, I think she already is well aware of the time that it takes and the commitment. So not unlike what you guys are putting into your chapter. And we both have done the chapter leadership, so we get it, which is why I put this slide in here, because it really does take a village. I want to introduce you to the people who've been working hard on your behalf this year. This is the 2021 Board of Directors, plus two others who are my senior advisors, like Felicia was for the 18 and 19 board. We're each allocated 2 seats that we can fill. And these folks are from all over the country, represented by the districts and then 2 at-large seats. And they really have been putting in just their own labor of love to move the organization forward. So I'm going to walk through just a little bit about what happened in 2021 and then toss it over to Felicia to talk about the excitement we've got in store for everyone next year. My year didn't start off so awesome. As you can see, the Capitol insurrection was January 6th. I started January 1st. It was an opportunity for us, though, to speak out on behalf of our profession on what disinformation and misinformation can do to a democracy. And we took that and moved into even more. Jessica talked about the continual curveballs that came our way because of COVID. And there was a moment last year when I broke down in 2020 and said, no one really appreciates that communicators are first responders too. During COVID, we have all been internal communicators and external communicators, and anyone who does corporate comm, we've just been on the front lines. This year, we were anticipating a much different scenario than what actually played out and continues to play out. This board of directors that I showed you the picture of has not met in person this year. So we've had 19 people meeting on Zoom monthly, and then sometimes they're 4-hour meetings, sometimes they're 2-hour meetings. And we just, COVID continues to be the gift that keeps on giving. It impacted our communications. It impacted a lot of our professional development, which I'll talk about in a minute. We also onboarded, this is all the first 2 weeks of January, 3 weeks of January, onboarded our new chief executive officer. Her name's Linda Thomas Brooks. She's been phenomenal. She is really looking at it from an external perspective. She has an advertising and marketing background in Michigan. She lived in Detroit for 12 years or 10 years, something like that, worked for GM on their internal advertising agency. She has been in the magazine association guidance, and she really does understand. She's never been in communications or public relations, but she understands the industry and she understands associations. So she's kind of giving us a lot of what we needed from a leadership in the industry standpoint. And that has been it's just a lot more time from the board's perspective to bring her into a really complex organization that it's, once you understand the complexity of it, it's easy to talk about, but until you understand chapters, districts, sections, and how important committees are within our structure, it's hard to describe that to someone. So once January passed and we got everything up to snuff with the 30 committees and getting them all staffed up, we got down to business. This was really kind of where we landed on the places where I wanted to be effective this year. Our membership, as you know, as you felt in your own chapter, the membership took a hit during COVID. It took a hit nationally too, and we're working hard to grow that. We started through group memberships and recently signed on one group that was 250 members, that sort of thing, and taking the group memberships in and really doubling down there, and then PRSSA chapters has served us well. Working with different partnerships, so sources of color communications match. The Puerto Rico PR Association was important as we grew student chapters there. We really focused this year on Voices for Everyone. I'm sure that you all have seen that website, the voicesforeveryone.prsa.org. And those 4 pillars were really important. They kind of encapsulated what happened in 2020 and put it in one type program, the resources that our members really needed to have in order to do their jobs every day. So how to navigate misdis and malinformation, what D&I tools do we need as communicators to bring forward into our organizations and our communities, civility and civic engagement. There's a civility white paper that is so good. If you haven't gone on to the website to read it, I encourage you to. There's one line that grabbed me right at the beginning, which was, we are living in an age of rage, and then talked about how communicators can get in and try to impact that and bring us back to this place of civility and civil discourse. PRSA has always been very focused on ethics, not just Ethics Month in September, but positioning papers that we do all throughout the year, and an ethics quiz that the Board of Ethics did, which was really good, and I encourage you to take it. It's also on the website. As I mentioned, COVID is the gift that kept on giving. We had to pivot once again to move ICON into a virtual setting. We were planning for a hybrid conference in Orlando, Florida, some in person and some of the sessions online. Florida became kind of the hotbed for our COVID cases when we started getting close to the fall. So we had to make a really tough decision as a board and turn that into a virtual conference again. And that was largely so that we could have a full participation assembly. The rooms that we had dedicated to assembly really counted, but we couldn't, because of New York state law, couldn't have a hybrid assembly, some in person, some online. So we wanted a full assembly because we had a pretty tough bylaw amendment that was being considered. And we wanted to make sure that everybody had a voice. So that was pivoted, and it turned out to be pretty well received. It went for 2.5 weeks, which we recommended shortening that. But some of the things were already in process, so it remained, and had some outstanding speakers. It was just phenomenal, the content. There were several advocacy statements. So the first one that I did on January 6th was focused on disinformation and what that means to our democracy. And I've got a list of them here in a second that I'll show you. And then internal communications. One of the things that was really important to me was to really get out into the communities and out to our chapters. And we couldn't do that without kind of bucketing our town halls into districts. So I've spoken to you all before through the districts. And that was one of my favorite moments this year, was just really engaging with members and understanding what national could do to increase member value. As I mentioned, Voices for Everyone was a really big hit. Today, the 2 pillars that are used most frequently in Voices for Everyone remain the dismiss and malinformation pillar and the diversity and inclusion pillar. And the oops, there's me on my bike. I'm not sure if everybody wants to see me on my bike. It's nice, right? From like 5 years ago. P.S. I'm not sure where they found that photo, but talking about the district town halls and how we went through and really focused on them in the springtime. Yet we have another one next week, really focused on new members. So if you've been a member for a year or less, you're invited. Anybody's invited, but we'll be hosting that and just answering all kinds of questions about PRSA. And then the following week, we'll be talking to PRSSA and their new national committee and talking about what PRSA means in their just in their education journey, but as they become professionals. As I was talking about diversity, it's been a theme for a long while. Felicia was the chair of that committee for, gosh, please, I don't remember how many years, created a strategic plan, which has been implemented and continues to be updated. The important thing that I want to focus on here is that because of what happened in our world last year, or in our country last year, and we doubled down, more than doubled down on growing our membership to be more diverse. PRSA membership has largely been, I think we're 72% female and right around the same white. And we're really focusing on getting that closer to what the national census is, which would be like 52% white instead of 70+%. I'm not quoting the numbers correctly. But we have some work to do. And that's what the strategic plan was focused on, that and just really equity for diverse populations. My favorite thing on the website, and I encourage you to go, it's on the Voices for Everyone website and on the PRSA website, is the DEI toolkit. And that toolkit is updated every year and has a conscious style guide in it, which really looks at the race, ethnicity, our national origin chart, and is gender and sexuality chart, and helps us really understand the terminology, the language we should be using, pronouns, the origin, when to say Latinx, when to say Hispanic, when to say Mexican, like all of that, which is important to me in Phoenix because we're a 40% Hispanic market, and just what makes sense. And the co-chairs now that took over after Felicia, Anita Ford Saunders and Andrea Skills Monson, and I'm not sure who Felicia's got in that chair next year. They are so good. I love these women in that they keep all of it just so top of mind and so relevant. And it's really a necessary and gift that we give to members because it is so important. So diversity is a big deal. I mentioned advocacy. Here's where we've spoken out for the profession. The one that I got mad about all of them, but there are some things that you just kind of, get like up on my high horse, like, no, we are communicators or public relations professionals, and we're not going to take this. The one that was just like perplexing to me was that Blade's fictitious spokesperson, when they created that and then got busted for it. So it's like, why that matters to everyone. And his quote was, well, everybody does it. It's like, no, Mr. CEO, everybody doesn't create a fictitious spokesperson. What does that serve you? So these are all on our website if you're interested at all in seeing how PRSA speaks out on behalf of the profession. It will continue. We have an advocacy committee, and that is an important part of what we do for our members. So that will continue into next year. As we're talking about diversity, I was invited to speak to the Congress Radical for the Pro PR, which is Pro RP in Spanish, but it was all of Latin America. And the one thing that I wanted to say there is Jorge, whom we all love and adore. He's on our board and lives in Tijuana, and his company really straddles the border. And he has Tijuana clients and San Diego clients, and he's a member of both. But he's really helping us to grow in Latin American countries, which was part of the diversity committee for a long time, and now is going into global affairs so that we can focus on some of that and then start to translate a lot of our materials into Spanish in the coming years. And this I thought was just so cute. So I was so worried in my presentation to this audience. It was like 400 communicators that I was very deliberate in how I spoke and making sure, because there was no translator. And then not an hour after my presentation, this pops into my email. They did an infographic on my presentation and completely nailed it. I was like, that's the last time I worry about worrying about translation. I thought it was really, really powerful. They ended up doing one for all of the speakers, and they made one really big, long infographic, which was cute. So PRSA staff, Karen Mateo and Ron Granger are our professional PR staff, and they are actively pursuing media coverage for the profession and for PRSA. And I asked them just to give me glance on what the first 6 months look like. And these are the publications where they've been successful in getting coverage on some of the advocacy issues. This was outside of, we had a press release go out when Linda joined. That's included here, but this is really outside of that. Just an example of how they're advocating for us, which I thought is great, and they'll continue to do that too. And with that, I tried to get that in 7 minutes. I hope I didn't go too much over. I will turn it over to Felicia so she can talk to us about welcoming 2022.
All right, I'll share my screen, but the first thing I will say is buenos dias. Yo soy muy, I had to do an opening, and I'm trying to remember what I said. Bienvenidos at the Puerto Rico PR Association meeting that was held in the week of the hurricane down there in Puerto Rico. Okay, now I can start sharing. I have a lot of excitement about this year, and one of the things I will say about me is I tend to be what I call a hard charger. And that is, if I believe in it, I'm going to work hard for it. I'm going to get everything I got. And because that's how I'm made up. That's just how I am constructed. So you see my little bells down there. Happy holidays to you. So I have 6 slides. And I want to try to give you a peek inside this noggin, and not just this noggin, my heart, and what I truly, honestly feel about this organization called PRSA. I've been involved with PRSA for probably 30 years. And my love hasn't waned. And there have been days I just want to kick it down the road and give it a quick, pow in the jaw when things aren't going so well. But this is a fine organization, and it's so great. What's at the top of the list for me in 2022 is helping you and your members understand we are here for you. We know that things are harder today than they were a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago. So when you pay whatever the dues amount is that you pay, what brings you the most value? How is it that you translate what you could have paid to get your nails done, get your hair done, go out to a movie, get a dinner, get drinks, into relevancy and value? So this year is all about, for me, member value, member satisfaction, retaining you all at higher rates, and then yes, growing membership. So I picked these wordles, I think that's the word, and I wanted one that had certain words in it, but I couldn't find one that had everything I wanted in it, and I don't know how to make my own. So 2 of them, you see the word value in it. Value. What makes something valuable for Allie may be different than what brings value to Kelly or Jen. And just like, your cable company provider, not everybody has HBO, not everybody has Showtime, not everybody wants ESPN, everything. We have a cornucopia of opportunities that will make you better, that will make you be better and do better. But we need to understand that. How do we, zig and zag and getting that member value more understood? And I know I wanted member experience so bad. I wanted it so bad. But at the end of the day, you all indeed are customers. You pay for a product, you pay for a service, and you expect that service to do whatever it is you need to do for you. So that's where my head is. Right now, today, I'm a person that is very focused on looking at the data to make decisions. And then that gives us the indicators of where to move the needle in different areas. We have to lean into more of the data. particularly around your satisfaction levels. What are our members using and using the most? I want to know that, because I gave an example today. If we were selling cheeseburgers with bacon and we were selling them out the door every 5 seconds, I don't want to make the tofu burger anymore. Tofu is good for you, but if you want a bacon cheeseburger more than anything else, that's what you want, right? And that's what you're willing to pay for. Keep member value in mind. Next, the 75th anniversary is really important to me. And, you know, God works in mysterious ways, or whoever you believe in. I believe in a higher being, and he directs me, and it is a he to me. It could be a she to you. But I didn't realize that my year would align with the 75th anniversary, but it just so happens that it does. Now, we could have had a party and just thrown some confetti and said, "Sis kumbaya, rah, 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 go home." I don't work like that. I think of myself as a consummate strategist. And so what I can tell you right now today, and I love engaging with the audience. So Helen and Lisa and Ashley, what we do plays an integral, critically important role in fostering a democracy and a functioning civil society. That is not hyperbolic. That is not. That is real talk. But we don't think about what we do in that way. We don't talk about it in that way. So what I said to this wonderful, auspicious group of human beings that you see identified on the screen, because I love giving credit where credit is so wholly due, is that we are going to honor the contributions of this organization, the profession, and the past, and how we will shape the future for the next 25, 50, and 75 years. And what will that entail? Well, to be very technical, a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm just going to ask you to stay tuned and stay tuned. You will. I can share this in early January. I'm not going to tell you the date just in case it might slip a little bit. We will launch these PRSA 75th anniversary URL, and you won't miss it. It's just not going to be able to be missed unless you're living under a rock or something. So much more to come. I will go ahead and give you one little sliver of an indicator. Michelle, I'm going to go ahead and let you in on this now. One of the things I again believe in leading with the heart and the head, right? So how do you frame an anniversary in your own way? How does your wedding anniversary or your friend anniversary resonate with you personally? It's not the same way. Everybody doesn't want roses. Everybody doesn't want chocolate. Everybody doesn't want to go skating or biking, Michelle. So one of the things I will be asking every single national board member to do is take 60 seconds and to answer the question, what does the 75th anniversary of PRSA mean to me? Then at the chapter level, Allie, you and all your compadres, we're going to ask you to do the same thing, but at the local level. They say all politics is local. PRSA, we get the best of you in your local market, probably. So invite your board officers on your own social channels. This is not something we want you to buy or do. You got to do it at this day, this time. No, whatever moves you. What does this 75th anniversary mean to you? So much more to come. Next, another big thing I'm really excited about is a book. We're publishing a book, y'all. We're doing a book. It is the top 25 moments in PRSA's history from the period of 1947 to 2021. Oh, your mind is going to be blown. Why? Because we don't often think about how we do what we do and who it impacts, what it impacts. I'm gonna give you an example. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag too much, but the financial crisis of 2008, did you know that there was a communications professional in the background a CCO at a major company that was helping to shape the messaging of what was happening in Detroit, that literally saved our economy, because so goes the car industry, so went the American economy. I want to hear those stories. There was a gentleman who was the first Black press secretary in the White House. I don't know who that is, but now we're gonna know, right? It's good stuff. Then, yum, yum, yum. I'm coming to the close, only one more to go, guys. Icon 2022, write this down, November 13 through 15 in Dallas, Fort Worth. I don't know, I'm sure y'all are probably Green Bay Packer fans and all of that good stuff. This is a Dallas Cowboys girl right here, let me tell you. So again, I don't know how this happened. God just works in such mysterious ways. We're going to Dallas, y'all, in 2022. The theme is the power of influence. I'm so excited. I'm not going to read all that, but Allie, I will send you this deck. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you letting me come into your Zoom space. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you guys both so much for, talking. And I know we have a couple questions. I do want to give a shout out to the Detroit Lions. So, woo, game. Pretty sad when winning I game is a big deal, but that's just kind of where we are. So I think we're used to the abuse, and that's the norm. The first question's from Helen. She's the chair of our communications committee, and she said the question can go to Michelle or Felicia. And as CMPRSA's communications chair, she's just curious if at the national level, you guys have insights into the kind of communications members want to see or interact with the most, whether that's social, email, whatever.
I can take that one. You all might be surprised to know that email is where members interact with the most. We've struggled a bit in social. There's a lot of eyeballs on it, but not a lot of engagement. So people are consuming the news we put out on social, but not necessarily engaging with it at the level that we would hope to. But it's a information sharing strategy for PRSA, but people write back and they interact mostly with emails. So we've got the open rates that are really good on some of the quarterly notes that I send out. I don't know if that helps you in your communication, but it's, email is there, it's omnipresent. And if it stands out enough, what helped us is changing where it came from, and the important things come out from my name instead of like PRSA communications. So maybe change the coming out from your name if it's pretty well known, or from the president's name, and that might get a good open rate for you too. But that's what happens at national.
If I could just get a little piece of that. At the end of the day, at the beginning of the day, communication is about two-way contact. You want somebody to hear you say something and then hopefully do something. I still think if you really have an interest in engaging, pick up the phone, call somebody. Don't just do emails at the local level. That's where we can't do that 100% at the national level. Second thing, consider adding a text messaging feature to your repertoire. I can tell you that lady right there, that blonde lady up in the corner with the glasses named Michelle Olsen, she is a texter extraordinaire. You cannot get her on the phone, you cannot get her via email, but you can get her via text. My 2 cents.
Because I'm always in an airport. Going to my next favorite hometown, Grand Rapids or Detroit.
I can jump in on this next one from Greg, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good one for you.
When I was D&I chair, we talked about this a lot. The name of what we do, the space, is ever evolving. I see you all's naming convention is IDEA, love it. Then there's JEDI, Justice, Equity, Diversity, Inclusion. Who knows what it'll be next week? But here's something, I'm going to read this to you. I'm going to put this way up here. I think it's less about the naming than understanding what your role is. Somebody sent this to me, so I'm going to just share it. Diversity is a fact. That means I cannot choose that I was born female and Black. I don't have any, I can't remake myself. That's a fact. Equity is a choice. How you choose to treat me is in your bailiwick. I can't control that. Inclusion is an action. When you see me, when you go to lunch, if you choose to invite me over to sit down to have lunch with you, that's your choice. That's inclusion. And then belonging is an outcome. And I would suggest to you that we are not striving for D, E, and I. We're striving for all of us, the totality of us, to feel comfortable in our space. Because one of the things I'll never forget, when we were doing the diversity and inclusion strategic plan, I was in a focus group in Tampa, Florida, and a young man said, "Hey, I got a question. I am a straight white male in PRSA. Am I considered a minority?" And so one could argue, yes, you could be. So Greg, the committee has discussed that, changing the naming convention. It would require a whole bunch, but I'm more interested in what they're doing than the naming convention. But if it does seem to be leaving out some elements, we certainly can revisit.
It's a great answer. Thank you so much. I had a question, and I'm not sure, both of you are APRs. I am too. I think we've had a little bit of a struggle trying to help our members connect the dots and the value and earning one's accreditation, and also educating employers what an APR, how to help differentiate the employee, and what type of strategic thought they can bring to the table. So, any thoughts with that? I know we're looking for a new APR chair, so would love any perspective you guys could offer on that.
I mean, it's an ongoing conversation at the PRSA board level. Every meeting has something about APR and APR marketing. It's important to note that their APR marketing committee, it's got a wonderful strategic plan that it started implementing it this year, and really it's going to carry over into 2022. And the one ask that I had of them that was missing was to really focus on that push-pull. So getting to the employers and hiring managers and the HR people, so that at a level over 5 years that they start asking for someone to be accredited, and at least explaining to them what the accreditation means in our profession. And so that's in their plan now too, in terms of like really looking for that pull. Like, we are hiring accredited. I had to make that change even at a high level at Lambert because it wasn't mentioned. I'm the only accredited person on our staff, and I talk about it frequently. My initials turn out to be AO instead of like MO, because I have the A PR on Teams meetings, and that is a good driver for conversation, actually. So we are focused on not only increasing the number of people who are sitting for the exam from chapters on up to nationally, kind of as a totality, but the people who are requesting it. So they've got news coverage, they're working with SHRM. There's a number of tactics that they're deploying already and that will go into next year. And I'm not sure if that's the same leadership, Felicia, that you've got lined up for next year.
Same two
They're
folks.
so good. Yeah, they're so good. Good.
So I look at it differently. When I got my PhD, it wasn't because, and my husband, I can assure you of that, there wasn't somebody saying, here's a big old paycheck, here's a big old wad of money we're going to give you for getting that PhD. I know it's out there. I know it is one of these things that I can shape my future the more education I get. I believe in lifelong learning. In 1995, when I got my APR, it was not because I thought it would help me get higher. I know everybody has different decisions around how they make about their professional and personal development. Getting the APR has made me a stronger communicator, hands down. I mean, without equivocation. So if you want to learn the stuff that will separate you when you go into an interview room, when you submit your resume, when somebody asks you what do those 3 letters mean, get the APR. I think like as Michelle shared, we can walk and chew gum at the same time. We can improve the understanding and appreciation of it in agencies, corporations, HR leaders. But it also, I think we would be failing ourselves if we didn't remind You got to want to develop you. Learning is lifelong. And the APR is a way for you to, blow your competition out of the water when you're going for a job. Not because of those 3 letters, but because of what you know that nobody can take from you. That's the way I look at it.
Those are really great perspectives. Thank you so much. And, it's interesting when you say that, because for me personally, I was walking through the process. I was at a firm where we followed that strategic process, but I didn't understand why I was doing that. So it helped me really kind of connect the dots. So I hear what both of you are saying. Thank you so much. I want to take the chance to offer, if anyone else has any questions, please feel free to raise your hand or throw them in the chat. Also want to draw attention to just a few comments that we had from people. Lisa Beering, she's our treasurer and soon to be president-elect. She just said she's really looking forward to the anniversary campaign, that milestones kind of really help us to prompt, how we evolved and look at where we came from and what we need to do to meet future needs. So a comment about that specifically and how we're looking forward to that. A couple of thanks. Jessie Adler, who's the APR chair, also said she's having a little bit of trouble with the renewal process of APR. So maybe something you guys feedback could take, to national, and just saying if we could streamline the process or somehow make it smoother, that would really be helpful to some of our older APRs who may not want to jump through those hoops. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's it. Any other questions from anyone? All right. Seeing none, I really want to genuinely thank both of you for your time. I want to thank all of our members for joining it today. Your talks and thoughts and opinions and feedback have just been so really, really valuable. We really appreciate it and loved to hear what's going on at the national level. So thank you for joining us.
Can I just throw one little thing out? That young lady up there, Ms. Monica Ackerson, I mean, she is the bee's knees. And you had her, Michelle, but I get to keep her too, because she's going to be working on some stuff in the 2022. Thank you, Monica.
She was the governance co-chair for all of you who may not
And she turns her camera back on.
I know. You've embarrassed her.
No, not at all. I hit the wrong button, but we really are so lucky to have just an amazing team at National. And I was thinking about the last comments and what I'm hearing at National about APR marketing. It's all really exciting. And we all just have to figure out how to plug into it. And I think if we all just work together, 2022 and beyond is going to be amazing.
I absolutely agree. And Monica, thank you so much for everything you do. I've been part of the chapter since 2013, and I know you predate me by a long stretch. So thank you for your service and commitment to our chapter. It's appreciated. And Michelle and Felicia, thank you so much for joining us again. We truly appreciate that. Anyone on the call today, if you feel like you have a question and you didn't get a chance to ask it or just weren't comfortable, feel free to shoot me an email, and I'm happy to follow up with Michelle and Felicia and make sure you get the answer to your question. So we appreciate everyone being here. I hope you guys have a safe and happy holiday. And thanks again for joining us.